Hey, welcome. Dr. Parks here, founder of Essential Vitality, integrating conventional thinking with natural wellness for over a decade. In today's video, I'm going to teach you the single most profound distinction in my 15 years practicing medicine in the emergency room: how stress, or even fear, can actually make the body sick. More importantly, over this mini-series of this and the next 3 videos, I'll start to cover what we can do about it. Let's start off with what most people out there are doing, day in, day out, especially if you're choosing to stay home glued to the screens. You know what screens I'm talking about. TV screen, iPad, maybe you've got your phone. If that's not enough screens and you're an overachiever, you've got an Apple Watch shoved right in your face. And what's coming in through all these screens? It's really very simple. Information. Information is always coming into our system. Even thousands of years ago, before we had these 6 screens shoved in our face, information was always coming into the brain. Your ancient ancestors out in the cave, as they were learning to get comfortable stepping out of the cave, they were looking for something. What were they looking for? Saber-toothed tiger, of course. But why were they looking for the saber-toothed tiger? Because they knew that getting eaten was bad. So, Mother Nature, Darwinian evolution, survival of the fittest, and all her infinite wisdom gave your ancient ancestors an incredible tool. They received this thing called a brain. This brain was good for one thing above all else: making sure that the body that this brain was connected to would not get eaten. Because the brain thought it was pretty smart. It knew that if the body got eaten, the brain would probably not survive. And so we developed this entire concept we now call fear. Fear was, is, and will continue to be quite useful. Fear gets a bad rap. Perhaps even the only reason so far that you're realizing you're continuing to watch this video is due to the fear of not knowing how in the past fear has been making you sick. But fear can also be phenomenally helpful. Let me show you first how it works. So here's where you start to realize how much of an artiste I am. Not. So this is your brain. This particular brain is looking towards the future. And this over here, this is the screen of life. Information comes into the brain. And there's a filter in the brain. I'll mark it A. A stands for amygdala. You don't need to know names. Names are far less important than concepts. But just know information is always coming in through all the senses. It's coming in through our sight, our hearing, our smell, our sense of touch, everything. And it's passing through all of these filters. So H stands for hippocampus. A is for amygdala, C stands for cortex. All this information is getting hacked down, because otherwise all this information would be totally overwhelming. And when it comes to what we think and see and feel and know, our experience of the world, I'm going to call it M. M for me. How about it, huh? Neuroscience that you can understand. And when we start to really understand, then we can use it. Now, the me, each of us has a me. You have a me, I have a me, and it's connected to the deeper brain, you, underneath. We could also call this part of the unconscious. It's not exactly true, but it'll work for our purposes. Now, this you is made up of 2 parts, H. H stands for the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is like the monkey brain. Hypo meaning below, because this monkey brain is working under the surface of our normal awareness. Just remember, if you're feeling a little confused, it means you're about to learn something. So this monkey brain is doing all of these functions to keep our bodies working without us even realizing it. This is what helps regulate your blood pressure. It helps control our sleep and wake cycle. If you're not sleeping well, we might be able to install some new programs in this little guy. If you're thirsty, or if you're not thirsty enough, this little guy is having a say. Hunger even has its source here. But the hypothalamus is primarily a deep brain set of wiring. This hypothalamus doesn't have its own plumbing system. So this powerful little monkey brain has a sidekick hanging right underneath here. And I'm going to call it P. P is called the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is connected to the plumbing system of our body, meaning our blood vessels and our hormones. So together, the HP are part of the underground, the unconscious control system, the system that controls the most powerful part of us. And why do I say that? These are the little guys that are the gatekeepers over how we feel and how unhealthy or how healthy we get to be, both day in, day out, and over long periods of time, like months, years, even decades. Most people think that we have no control over these parts of the brain. Heck, most doctors don't realize how we actually can control these little guys and make them our minions. I sure didn't. What I learned in medical school was this is part of our autonomic nervous system, and auto meaning automatic. Almost by definition, we were taught, we just didn't know how to consciously control these parts of our brain and body. The single biggest realization that I can pass on to you over this and the next 3 videos is this. Are you ready? You might want to write this down. Put it in your notes. I get it. Maybe you don't have a pen. Maybe you're driving. Maybe you're like me and don't ever like to do something, even if you really want to do it, just because someone else is suggesting that maybe it'd be a good idea for you to do it. Well, I'll let you sort that out later. But for now, decide to make a mental note of this, because this is the single most important thing I'll say in this whole video, not to mention all the videos I'm working hard to make for you. Are you ready? We have far more control than what we thought. We have far more control than what we thought. Now, I'm not saying you can instantly make your heart rate go down 33 beats per minute. What I am saying is we do have the ability to influence what's going on here in our own brains. Every second we're now awake and realizing what's been going on. If you need to, rewatch this video a couple times. I invite you to do so, or whatever serves you best. These will all be available in order on myessentialvitality.com, as well as our Essential Vitality YouTube channel. Because up next, now that you have the foundation, I'll help you understand what actually happens when the saber-toothed tiger shows up to the entrance of our ancestors' cave, or when it appears to show up on one of our screens. Let me know how you find this information helpful and what you're looking forward to learning with me next. I'll see you at the top of the next video. Until then, decide to feel grateful, healthy, and vital. Stay well, my friends.